In the heart of a forgotten forest, where shadows danced with the whispers of the wind, there stood a house unlike any other. Its windows were eyes that never blinked, and its doors creaked open with a bone-chilling groan. The locals spoke of it in hushed tones, warning of the curse that plagued its halls. Legend had it that once a year, on the night of the full moon, the house would come alive with the echoes of the past. Those who dared to venture inside would be greeted by ghostly figures that moved in silence, their eyes hollow and filled with sorrow. One fateful evening, a curious traveler named Emily found herself drawn to the house's eerie glow. Ignoring the warnings of the townsfolk, she pushed open the creaking door and stepped into the darkness within. The air grew cold, and a sense of dread washed over her like a wave. As she explored the labyrinthine corridors, whispers surrounded her, telling tales of tragedy and loss. Shadows danced at the edges of her vision, and the walls seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy. Emily's heart raced as she realized she was not alone in the house. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows, a spectral form with eyes that glowed like embers. It beckoned to her, its voice a haunting melody that chilled her to the core. Emily tried to flee, but the house seemed to shift around her, trapping her in its grasp. Desperate and afraid, Emily followed the figure deeper into the house, each step echoing like a drumbeat in the silence. Finally, they reached a room bathed in an otherworldly light. Before her stood a mirror that reflected not her own image, but that of a ghostly woman with a sorrowful expression. The ghostly figure spoke, its voice a whisper that echoed through the room.
I am trapped in this house, bound by a curse that can only be broken by a willing soul.
It said.
Will you help me find peace?
Emily's heart pounded in her chest as she gazed into the mirror, feeling the weight of centuries of sorrow pressing down on her. In that moment, she made a choice that would change her fate forever. With a trembling hand, she reached out to touch the mirror, and in a flash of blinding light, the curse was broken. The house trembled and groaned, its walls crumbling to dust as the spirits within found release. As the first light of dawn broke over the horizon, Emily emerged from the ruins of the house, her eyes filled with a newfound sense of purpose. The townsfolk watched in awe as she walked away, knowing that she had faced her fears and emerged stronger for it. And so, the legend of the haunted house faded into memory, a tale whispered around campfires on dark nights. But for Emily, it would always be a reminder of the night she faced her fears and found the courage to set both the living and the dead free.